Hi everyone, it's Lindy on here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today we're going to make this fun, elegant, happy Valentine's Day card, and we're going to be using lots of products from Hero Arts as well as some beautiful glimmer paste. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm starting off with a craft mat and a little box. This is my color catcher because we're going to be doing some spraying. So first let me show you the stencil. This is the Hero Arts Mandala Swirl stencil and it is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm using my Pixie spray. This just has a light adhesive to it. We're going to spray the back of this stencil and that'll hold it in place while we do our glimmer paste. So I've just sprayed this. I actually took it outside to spray it, but you want to kind of come a little bit away from the stencil and give it a nice spray and then let that dry. And I've already done that. So now I have my Hero Arts Infinity dies, and these are the Nesting Heart Infinity dies. For paper, I'm using the Strathmore Bristol Smooth 100-pound cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and die cut that second largest heart. So now that I've done that, what I'm going to do is just attach this to my table just to hold it in place while we do our stenciling. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the Tombow adhesive runner down, and that'll easily remove when we're done with our stenciling here. Then I'm just going to center this stencil right on the center of that heart and press it down really well. Now I am adding a little bit of purple tape here. I just want to make sure that this doesn't move. I probably don't need to do this, but I just wanted to make sure that it didn't slide at all when I was doing my stenciling. So I'm just making sure I press that stencil down really well onto that cardstock so there's no gaps there. And then for glimmer paste, I'm using this beautiful Nuvo product. And this color is called Raspberry, and it's kind of a pinky red color. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Has a beautiful glittery effect to it. So I'm going to go ahead and use, this is the Nuvo Media Spatula. So it's kind of a flexible spatula. And I'm just going to take my palette knife here and add a little bit of the glimmer paste right up at the top here. I'm going to work in some small sections here. I just wanted to take my time here and make sure I do this really evenly. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull that paste down. And again, I want to make sure I fill in all of those little gaps in the stencil here. So I'm just going to take my time and smooth that out. And what's nice about this spatula, it has a nice flexible end on it. It's made of silicone, so it's got this nice flexibility to it and makes it really easy to push this paste around. So again, I'm going to fill in all these little areas. And I do want to try to get it as even as I can. And I do want it fairly thick as well. So I want to get a lot of dimension from this stenciling. Now once I have that done, I'm just going to put all that excess back in the container here. Make sure I seal that up well. And then we can go ahead and remove the stencil. And that will reveal this beautiful glimmer paste background. Now I did tape it down to my glass mat, so I'm just using a little tool here just to pop that back up. It's not hard to do, I just didn't want to touch it. So I'm just going to lift that up. And then you do want to make sure you clean everything off. Clean off your table and all your tools. So I did take a break to make sure everything was clean. Now once the stencil was completely dry, I took my Tim Holtz pick tool and I'm just cleaning out any of those little areas where I might have had some excess of that glimmer paste. So I'm just going to take a second or two here just to kind of scrape away any areas that I don't like there. Now I'm going back to the Nesting Heart Infinity dies and I'm going to grab that largest one. I'm going to die cut that from some black 100-pound cardstock. So I'm running that through the Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine, and that's going to sit right behind this stenciled heart. Now I'm taking this stamp and die set. This is also from Hero Arts, and you get the Congrats and the Happy, which coordinate with the stamps down below. And then you have all these little sentiments that coordinate with this. And this is the Congrats Happy Stamp and Cut set. We're just going to take the die that says Happy, We're going to run that through the Sizzix Sidekick machine, and you can see that there. Now we're grabbing this set here that says Happy Valentine's Day. We're just going to be using the Valentine's Day portion. And this is the Love Stamp and Cut set, also from Hero Arts. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that stamp. And then for my stamping, I have this little set of acrylic blocks. These are from Hero Arts as well. And you get all these different sizes here, which is really nice. And this is the Small Blocks Trio set. So I'm going to be grabbing that one that's 1 inch by 4 inches to do my sentiment. So I'm just lining this up on my glass mat, but I can also line it up with the grids on the stamping block as well. So it's really easy to get this nice and straight. Again, I'm going back to that Tombow tape, and I've just cut a strip of this black cardstock, the 100-pound cardstock, to about maybe not quite a ½ inch and just long enough to fit my sentiment on there. I'm using my Hero Arts Unicorn Pigment ink, and I've blocked off the word happy with a Post-it note. So I'm just going to cover that while I do my inking, and then you want to make sure you remove the Post-it note before you do your stamping. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. Now I do want to emboss this, so I'm going to grab my Ranger embossing powder. This is the super fine detail white embossing powder. And it is a nice bright white, so it's going to look really pretty on this black cardstock. I'm just tapping off any excess, and I'm going to heat set that with my heat tool. Now if you have any problems with static, you can always use your anti-static powder tool before you do your stamping. Now I'm grabbing that 5th largest die in that same nested heart infinity die set, and I'm going to go ahead and die cut that again out of some Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock. So I've got the Happy Valentine's Day here. I'm going to go ahead and attach this banner. I just need enough glue right across the center here because we're going to be cutting off those ends. And I'm using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to attach this. I just want to make sure that it's nice and straight. Then I'm going to flip this over, and I'm just going to cut away any of that excess. Now I can go ahead and attach the die cut Happy right above that. And I'm going back again to my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, and I'm just going to put little tiny dots of this all the way around. And I'll go ahead and glue that in place. Now I'm going to grab the largest die from the nesting rectangle dies, again from Hero Arts, and I'm going to die cut that out of some Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock as well. I'm placing that in my MISTI, but I do want to remove this foam pad before I do it because the stamp we're using is a thick foam rubber stamp. So I'm going back to that Tombow tape runner, and I'm just going to position my cardstock a little bit away from the corners. And then I'm grabbing my stamp here, and again this is from Hero Arts. This is one of their 6x6 bold cling stamp sets, and this one is called Bursting with Love. So I'm just going to, again, position my paper a little bit away from the corner here, just making sure that I lined it up nice and straight. And then I'll position the stamp right in the corner there. I'm going to use my EK Success Anti-Static Powder tool and just place that powder all over because we are going to be embossing this entire front. So I want to make sure there's no static here. So once that's done, I'm going back to my Unicorn Pigment White ink, and I'm going to ink up this stamp all over. And you want to make sure you get a nice even coating of this ink. So just pat it on quite a few times just to make sure you get enough ink here. You can always stamp it a second time if you need to as well. So I'm just pressing that out. I'm just using a towel here to press that out. Make sure I get a nice even stamping here. Then I can go ahead and emboss this. So I'm going back to that same embossing powder we used before. And I'm just going to sprinkle that embossing powder all over, and then I'll heat set that with my heat tool. And this is when it's nice to have a nice good sized bucket underneath there, so you can just tap that powder right back into your container. I'm just flicking off any excess there, and then again I'll heat set that, and this will give us a beautiful textured background, the white on white. So it won't add any color, but it's going to add a lot of texture. So once that's all set, I'll make my card. So this measures 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to score that at 4.25. And I'm just pressing that out with my bone folder. So we have a standard A2 size card, which measures 4.25 by 5.5. So this panel is going to fit right on the front of the card here. And I did want to add some ribbon. So I'm adding this sheer ribbon. I'm just going to cut a couple strips of this, maybe about 6 or 8 inches. And you can see that it's about a 1/2 inch wide. And then I'm going to apply some tape all around the back of this panel. I'm using my ATG 700 tape runner to do this. But before I attach it, I want to attach my ribbon. I'm just going to make it look like it wraps all the way around from the back to the front. So I'm just attaching it up from the bottom of the card, maybe about 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to add a little extra tape right over that ribbon just to make sure that it doesn't move. Now I'll just attach that right to the front of the card. Now before I tie this, what I decided to do was I'll attach my hearts first. So I'm going to attach these two together. I'm using my glue here just to make sure I have a little time to move it around and make sure that I have it centered really well. And now I'm going to pop this up. So I'm going to take some Scotch foam mounting tape, and I'll place some of this all around the back here. And I like to cut the tape into little sections just because I can make it stretch a little bit further. So I'm just cutting it in half, and then I'm going to put some little pieces of tape all around the back here. I'm removing the backing, and then I'm going to center this on the card. Now I can go ahead and tie this, and I'm just going to tie a little knot, and then I'm just going to cut those ends at a little bit of an angle there. This piece will also get popped up just the same way we did the first one. And this will also get centered right on the front of this heart. Now once I got this far, I thought it was a little bit plain still, so I decided to come in with a little bit of the glitter. This is the Nuvo Aqua Shimmer Glitter Gloss Pen. And I will list all of the products I used today down below. So you can check down below, or you can also check on my blog as well. So this will add a nice little sparkle to our black cardstock. And then for a little bit more interest, I decided to add these little heart embellishments. These are from Buttons Galore and More, and these are the red hearts. I'm just using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive and my Marvy Jewel Picker to place these down. And I'm just going to put 3 of these right on the front here. And again, that'll just add a little bit more interest to the card. So here's our completed card. I'll give you a closer look at that. And you can see that beautiful tone-on-tone textured background we have with the hearts. And then that beautiful glimmer paste. I just love that. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to visit me at pinkwhisperdesigns.com. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.